Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Happy New Year, everyone!
Woohoo! Happy New Year, Kardec Radio, and all the listeners.
Yeah, Happy New Year. It's good to have you all here. One more year. We did it. One more year. May 22, sorry, I'm 2 years ahead. 22 be a wonderful year for everyone with a lot of health, And that's that we learned in these past 3 years that health is the most important thing. With health, you can get everything. So I hope you have a lot of health this year. And how are you, Debora?
I'm doing great. I can't wait for 2022, and for sure. And I think our theme today will be talking about hope, and it couldn't be any better because the end of the year, I don't know anybody who doesn't reflect on their lives, on the past, but a lot of people forget to reflect in the future and bring in this topic of hope. Why do we have to talk about hope? Because there's a lot of people that went hopeless. We know there's a lot of sadness, there's a lot of depression, there's a lot of anxiety, and a lot of it results from a lot of hopelessness that people have experienced. There has been a lot of grieving as well these past 2 years, and we have to at some point bring Spiritism to help us with some answers and with some hope, because as we know, nothing lasts forever. Nothing is here to cause us pain or punishment, but to give us a great lesson, to give us a little understanding about ourselves, about our world, what needs to change morally, intellectually. So I guess we'll talk about hope, Stevan. And what do you think? What's your concept of, since we're going to be a back and forth talk here, what is hope to you?
Well, I answer a question with another question. Is hope the last one to die?
Ooh.
And if hope die, which we will see, we will talk here, is the first one to born as well. Like today, we are here, 1st of January. And we hope we have a wonderful year. We hope we get what we want. The question is what I want right for me? Am I asking this at the right time? Am I asking the right things? We're not talking today about this hope of acquire things, desire. No, we're talking about the hope of life. Hope of having you be prepared to achieve what you want without any prejudice, without harming anyone, without creating any barriers, without being selfish. The hope you do everything you want of all your efforts. This is hope for me. This is a kind of flame who never ends. So, and for you, Debora, how do you think for those ones who is watching us and they say, "Oh, I'm hopeless. I'm alone. It's the first day of the year, and I'm alone. I have no one to come to visit me. I have no one to stay together with me, to watch a movie with me." So, what do we need to say for those one who are feeling hopeless now?
I always like to give, Chico Xavier, he to me is my goodness. He's my guide, the closest guide while he was alive, while I was alive. Obviously after Jesus, and our teacher Kardec. But he would always say when he felt sad, when he felt lonely, when he felt that he was just, again, loneliness really would be the word that he'd use. He said the first thing he would do is he would go work, and he would just get to work. He would bring to others what he wanted for himself. And he would immediately understand that he's never alone. So I think a lot of times we also have to learn to not expect, but to fulfill. So once I expect people to call me, I'm not exercising a fulfillment to call someone. Of course, I'm not talking about the inevitable moments in lives that people could be alone for reasons that we're not going to discuss here. And it could be health reasons. It could be someone in a nursing home, or, the reasons beyond their ability to do. But those we have to understand too. We're never alone. And I think the beauty of it, as long as you carry and you can take this from inside out, no matter where you are, you will attract likewise spirits that will always be there with you, and they'll make their presence be known, because we don't need to be mediums to know that someone's with us. We can exercise faith, and that's the whole thing about hope. Is I think hope is a pathway to faith. We have to constantly exercise hope so we can build our faith. Faith, we're not just born with it. We could, if we practiced and exercised in a lot of past lives. Either Stevan has more faith than Debora because he's an older spirit and he had more chances than I have, or he made better choices than I have, and he really exercised his choices. So don't feel hopeless. Anyone who's watching this, it doesn't matter if you're alone, if you're, alone. It exercise your faith. It's just you don't really get what you want in life. I learned that I get what I expect. We do that. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. We do that beautiful prayer, and at some point we say, "Thy will be done." Yet we give God a list of things we want, and it doesn't go in lines, because you ask for what you want, but then yet you say, "Thy will be done." So with hope, we can say, I hope that God's plans are the same as mine, but thy will be done. So I have faith. I expect him to do the best for me, because he is the Almighty. So I will never be wrong. And then it takes this burden off us. So 1st of January, 2022, exercise faith. Faith is two things: trust and surrender. So once you trust God completely, you say, I trust you. And then you say, I surrender to your will. It's no longer me. Paul would say that all the time, Paul of Tarsus. It's not me anymore. It's Jesus who lives in me. So once I trust and once I surrender into God's will, then your hope will become faith. And I think we'll never feel lonely. We'll never believe that things are happening to us out of bad luck, or that God just woke up in a bad mood and said, "Oh, today Stevan is today
Debora is gonna suffer."
Exactly. He doesn't wake up and say, "Oh, I'm in a bad mood today. I'm going to make everybody get sick in this world," or, "Oh, today, no way, I'm going to make it rain." It's not. It's not about that. Illness has a purpose. The rain will water the plants. So it really, once you surrender and you trust, your life will absolutely become a lot lighter, and your hope will become faith. How do you see that, Stevan? Even with you, do you exercise your faith? What does it take?
Well, I'd like to go for this path. I think it's on question 117 of the Spirit's book. The Spirit says to Kardec that a happiness of someone depends on their desire and their submission to God's will. Exactly what you said. Okay, so it's desire. So what hopes you have? It's the beginning. So what do you want for your life? What do you want for today, for this year? And go for it. Because God, it's like Deborah said, is almighty. Is the same God. The same God loves everyone. The same way he loves me, he loves Deborah, he loves you, he loves someone, somewhere, everyone. Is the same. It's our will who make this bad or good. It's our desire who makes this bad or good. It's our hope who makes this bad or good. And if you are disappointing, if you are feeling bad because nobody called you, nobody watching you, nobody came to you, it's because you put your expectations in someone behavior.
Mhm.
So it's you putting your expectations thinking that someone will come to you. But I'm saying, while you are waiting for someone calling you, think about you. Why don't you call someone who probably now is thinking, oh, Stevan will call me. Why don't you pick up your phone, pick up your car? Depends where you are. No, go and visit that person. Grab a piece of cake. Let's celebrate New Year's Eve, and you make the action to those you care. This is all hope. Hope is hope. Hope there is no ending. It's born every day. When we open our eyes, we hope you're gonna have a better day than tomorrow, or like in this situation, a better year than last year. Oh, but we do have COVID, we do have new variant, we do have these, we do. Yes, we do have, but this shall pass. Everything in our life has a beginning and an end. Everything. Everything have a beginning and have an end. The good moments and the bad moments. How you're gonna see these bad moments depends how importance you're giving to them. If you are in a bad moment, oh, and you put yourself in a self-pity situation, oh, I'm just suffering because Deborah did this. If she didn't move that piece, I'll be okay. No, it's you. What's the faith in yourself? Have courage. Do not be fear to try.
I think you said the word fear, and it's funny because I used to think that the opposite of love is indifference, which is part of it. But the opposite of love, I changed the concept to selfishness. Selfishness is the opposite of love because when you love, you don't worry about fulfilling your expectations. When you love, you give. For the selfish, he wants.
Mhm.
And the trust, the opposite of trust is fear. I always think if you put it in a balance, the more anxiety, the more fearful you are, the less you're exercising trust and faith. So it's nice for us to stop and think, why do I fear? Why am I afraid? Um, don't be afraid. It's a new year. There's nothing to fear. Absolutely Never. There's nothing to fear because you're never alone and you're capable. When Stevan said about what do you hope for, or, you have the power to do things. We have sometimes we walk in a dichotomy because sometimes I hope for something, but what I do is not walking me towards what I hope. And that's a problem because a lot of times I hope to be more educated. I hope to learn. Studies show that we usually spend 3.5 years of our lives studying nonstop. Yet, studies have shown that we've been spending over 9 years on TV, games, and social media. We're usually spending 3 times more of our times in a lot of wasteful ways than on acquiring knowledge. But I hope for. It's inconceivable for you to hope for something but do nothing for it. And God's been always saying that, ask and it shall be given to you. But you have to knock on the door. The door opens and you have to cross it. So it's inconceivable for you to do this whole, who here who's watching us has done a New Year's resolution, right? A lot of people do those lists. I've done them. They're useless. But why are they useless? Well, they're useless if you just hope for those things to happen and you take no steps about it. Another study was done that people that say, I'm going to the gym, that's the biggest one, right? It's usually stop smoking, go to the gym, eat better.
Diet always starts on Monday.
It always starts on Monday. And then what happens? You overeat the weekend because you want on Monday. Then Monday doesn't happen. Then Thursday you say, okay, you know what? I'm going to eat everything I want then this weekend because then I'll start Monday. And instead of losing, you're going to gain because you put this condition on yourself that's unrealistic. It's not realistic to say on the first of the year, I'm going to change and be a new person. How many reincarnations have we reached to be the best version that I am today? I don't want to do any life regression therapy because you know what? I wasn't any better. So there's no need to know. All I need to know is I'm the best that I've ever been. And it wasn't one day I woke up like that. And I'm far away from being the person that I want to be or that I will be. So first, don't make any unrealistic expectations. Don't hope for things that are unrealistic. I want all of a sudden the bell rings today here, you guys wake up and it's the first. And now you want to lose 20 pounds. I want to stop smoking immediately. I want to read more. I want to go to the center every Sunday. I want to do all these things. I want to read the whole codification in 3 months. So what happens? You get frustrated because it can't realistically meet what you hope for. Instead of hoping for unrealistic things, let's take little bites. My goal this year is to read the Spirit's book. Let me read it, but not just to read. Let me really understand each question. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Let me really go to the center. And if the center is closed, I'm going to be online, engaged with the people. So when we ask for hope, we're saying hope for the realistic, but take steps towards it. There is no way for you to say, I'm hoping that my hair will grow. Mine's a little long, right? And I'm cutting it every week. It's unrealistic. So what I hope for and the steps that I'm taking to get that have to be in the same plane. And in this life, we have to make these decisions. Today is about the first of the year. Make your positions on what you want for your life. What do you want? Do you want money? Well, some people say, oh, I want luck to get money. I say usually work works better than luck. The more I work, the better luck I get financially, right? So I want to be spiritually more attached to the divine. Well, I find that when I go to the center, when I pray more, when I read, I get a little more attached. So be realistic to what you want and really what you do. You're not going to get more morally advanced if you don't start practicing kindness and charity. Without charity, there's no salvation. That's the base of Spiritism. If you want a balanced life in your life, if you want, that's all I want this year, to just be a little better version. That's all. Because if I can be a little better version, then the world will be a better version. And kindness is accessible to everyone. Everybody has every day 1,000 ways that they can be kind. Very easily, through emails, through phones, through a smile, through bringing others hope, to giving your testimony that you have accomplished, to allowing other people to see your fragility, to see your vulnerability, and for you not to think, oh, because, Stevan is on Kardec Radio, he's a tough guy. I want to be spiritually solid like him or like Debora. I'm sure, Stevan, I don't know about you, but for me, for sure, we go through our tribulations exactly like anybody.
And we are here because we need more than anybody.
Yes. We've, put salt on the Last Supper, right? We
Exactly.
salted. So that's exactly it. The more is given to you is because the more will be expected out of you as well. So be kind. I find that kindness goes a long way. And kindness fills you in a different way that money will never fill it. Fame, beauty, any of that stuff. It's not a problem to have those things, but when you exercise kindness, it just fulfills you. And then the things of the world don't matter so much. How do you feel about that?
I like you when you touch that point, because it reminds me when Chico Xavier, a little story from him. When he was feeling depressive, down, with the situation, with all these things, he used to say, I will go and visit my teachers, let's say. And someone asking him, where are these teachers? I go and visit people who are in a very not poor situation, not better, in a worse situation than mine.
More precarious. Mm-hmm.
More precarious, yes, than me. And when he went to see that people, he said, oh, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky because I become up again and say, hey, life is beautiful. Let's do it. So it's a kind of how do you see yourself. I like to give examples. I like a music who says like this. Allow me to read the phrase here, because it's I don't want to say something wrong. Where there is desire, there is gonna be a flame. Where there is a flame, someone's bound to get burned. But just because it burns doesn't mean you're not gonna try. You're gonna die. You gotta get up and try. So I like this is not because there is a flame, someone's bound to get burned. You need to try. You need to try. The only way, if it is gonna happen okay or not, the only way to know is to try. Like Debora said, you did your list. Let's go to St. Augustine when he recommends, I think it's in chapter 5 of the Gospel According to Spiritism. He says, oh, do like me every day, analyze what I did wrong, what I did right. If I did it wrong to someone, next day I will go and fix it. But this is a daily exercise, not a yearly exercise. So, and we do this 31st, we did it yesterday, 31st of December, at 11:30, you start to write your wishing list. What are you going to do? You start to thinking about, what I did, No, this is a daily exercise, because today, I do not remember what I did 1st of January 2021. I don't remember. That's why it needs to be a daily thing. That's why every day you need to wake up, do what you think is right, because free will only develops as long as you acquire self knowledge. It means free will develops at the same pace you develop yourself. So, Stevens today, it's better than Stevens from yesterday. And Stevens from tomorrow will be better than Stevens today. And we need to apply this every day in our life. We will fail a lot. A lot we're going to fail. But we need to try. And if we fail, we need to have courage to say, Debora, I'm so sorry, but I did this with my best intentions, and now I see what I have done to you. It's wrong. I'm so sorry. If Debora forgives me, happy day for both. If she say no, what you did, it's still burning inside of me here, is still not good. Okay. It's now just her needs to work with herself in order to make this flame stop, and she needs to move on. But you already did the first step, which is come up to her and say, I'm so sorry. Once again, do not put expectations in someone's behavior. Oh, Debora should. No, she shouldn't. If you want to talk to Debora, call her. Don't wait to her calling you. So pay attention where you put your efforts. You're putting more efforts in someone's expectations, in someone's behavior, than in your. Life is like this. Everything's gonna work well where you put more efforts. If you want a healthy life, but you are eating junk foods every day, I think it's not gonna work. I think it's not gonna work. And when something happened, we blame the guy upstairs.
Poor God.
Oh, God doesn't like me. Wait, who was eating a junk food all this day? It wasn't me. So, we like to act as a judge. We're perfect. We should be judged. Everyone here should be judged, because it's easy to say, oh, she's doing that, he's doing this. Oh, I didn't like her behavior. I like the way he did that. We always judge someone's actions. But when someone judge our action, no.
We don't like it.
She's so bossy. No, I didn't like her. How she's telling me I'm selfish? Me? I do a lot of charity. I do a lot of charity. Okay, you are doing charity, but that charity is not happen inside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you say, I'm doing a lot of charity, I do good, I buy food for the others, I spend my time. So at the moment when you start to saying it,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't work. Okay, you did a good action. You helped someone who were in need. Happy days. But when you take a selfie with you giving food to someone who is in a poor situation than yours, it doesn't work, my friends.
Steven, when you say that, it's so real because we know our intentions. You know, I like to say, like, we learned so much through Kardec about intentions. And we'll know ourselves. We'll know why we do the things we do. Am I here on Kardec Radio because I want my face on Facebook? Not really. I didn't know makeup, no nothing. Just show. Well, I do have lipstick. I can't live without that.
I brush my hair.
There you go. And the intention is because, first of all, this program has not been rehearsed. First time we meet, first time we talk. We don't have anything, notes or nothing. It's a conversation. And right now, we became friends. There's a connection here. Ireland, USA already. So why are we doing what we're doing? Because, first of all, we love our doctrine. We love meeting new people. Whether they have more knowledge, less knowledge, we want a little bit of everybody else, and we want to give a little bit of what we have. So that should be the only reason, right? And that's the reason we're here. And when people want to ostentate, you know, like it's this thing where they want the picture on them on how good I am, how wonderful I am, how knowledgeable I am, how much food I'm giving. It invalidates your growth. And the minute that you do, and it's fine if you're going to take a picture of anything that's going to motivate people, then do it, because people need to know good news too. You know, people need to know. You know, these days you go watch TV, there's like blood coming out of the TV. You got to go with the Windex and clean it, you know? So in Brazil, there's a news, and every night they give this horrible news for an hour. And then at the very end, he says, you all have a good night. How am I going to have a good night now that you just gave me 1 hour of horrible
all
news?
these things, you know, like
Oh, now I can sleep in peace, you know, now that I saw, you know, let me get the Windex and clean the blood out of the TV. But now, we need more access to when people do good. And it's a huge difference, because usually those who do good will only show their goodness if there's a valid reason and a good intention to motivate others to do. And it's only you who will know. It's only us who will know. Why do I do the things I do? And I can only hope for spiritual growth if my intention agrees with in spiritually growth. And that is only when you have the intention of being genuine, of doing things really out of your own heart and kindness. It doesn't matter how much we do. It doesn't matter if I feed 1, 10, or thousands. It's the way I do it and the reason why I do it. So when Steven said that, we should really think about the years that we have lived today, maybe, and think like St. Augustine. Not about the whole years, but let's forgive the years and forgive ourselves, all our mistakes that we have done. But let's start now saying, what did I learn from that? Can I do it better next time? So every night when St. Augustine says, you know, just go through the day mentally and say, oh, you know, I was a little rude on my answer to that person, or my wife said something and I was a little, you know, snappy with her, or I didn't really stop and give my child the attention they needed at that moment. I was more busy on my social network. It's not to punish you. I don't think St. Augustine, he went through a lot, you know, he was not like he was quite the party guy back in his years. So I love people that are so real, like Augustine, because it's easy to, you know, like Paul. I love Paul because he was also doing some things that were not too kind. And those gave us the chance to know that we too can change. There's hope for us. You know, how many people do you know that have changed their lives, have won this battle against addictions, and they have won, and you can. That's the thing. It's so true that we can change. So anyone who's going there and they're watching, they're saying, Deb, you don't know my life. It's a mess. It can change. And I'll tell you, 3 things are usually the things that we have to examine. Our knowledge on whatever it is that we want to change, our ability to change, and our will. to change, our attitude towards it. So whatever it is that you're watching and you say, I really would like, it could be from a better job to being a better person to buying a house to, it could be material things. You will not hear from me that material is a bad thing, because it isn't. You tell me that a comfortable house with heating system is not better than a house in a cold without a heating. That's what's going to bring people into this belief. And that's why they move away from a lot of places that have great spirituality, because you can't connect spirituality with absence of worldly things or comfort, or you can't, because you're going to push people away. And that's not what God wants us. He's abundant. He says, I am the God of abundance. There is enough on earth for plenty for all of us, if it wasn't for a few selfish, So if you're the selfish, it's okay. You're going to get there as well. But when you discover what is it that you want, think about it. Today is the 1st. It's the 31st to the 1st. Let's put it that way. What do I want? It's important for us to know that. Then you have to think, what kind of
goals? Realistic goals. Be fair.
Yes.
Be fair with you.
Yes. Be fair.
Don't start with the most small ththings, then you go to the biggest things.
Yes. Before I bought my first house, I bought a garbage can for it, because I wanted a house. And I figured, in my kitchen, I wanted one of those garbage cans. You put the hand and it opens. Mm-hmm. So, it was a big thing, and I said, I'm going to get that. And then someday I'm going to build and build and build. And it can take years, but then I'm going to get my first apartment. And that's okay. And I'm not saying about material things, anything, I want to be a lecturer, but I'm afraid to speak. Then little by little, start doing the reading. Then you can say the final prayer after class. Then you start practicing in front of the mirror. Then you ask your family to sit there. My poor family have done that many times. Sit there and listen to me and, help me with it. Then you ask a mentor, someone to help you. So you first you have to have the knowledge. You learn, you study. Then you have to have the ability. Sometimes we have some limitations, and that's okay. Sometimes public speaking is just not for you, and that's okay. You don't have the ability to do that, and that's okay. It's just one of the many abilities. Maybe I don't have the ability to do a different thing. I'm not a dancer. I don't have the choreographical, if there is a word, way of dancing. I don't know, Steven. Maybe you rock on the dance floor. But
no, I'm that's like a rock, in the middle of the ball. Put it there, stay there.
Either you rock or you are the rock, but that's okay. And so if you have the knowledge how to do the tango, but you don't have the ability, that's okay. You do the cha-cha, you do something else, you do something different. And then you have to have the will. And that's what we're talking about. If I don't have the right attitude, if I already failed before I tried, you know what? You're not going to get it. When people say, Debora, I think, one person told me, they said, I keep thinking of this thing that I'm going to die before I reach 70. And I said, wow, really? And the person said, I really think I'm going to die young. And then I said, well, guess what? I agree with you. And the person looked at me like, how can you say that? I said, how am I going to disagree with you? You're already saying it's a self-fulfilled prophecy. You're already saying that you're going to die before you reach 70. So who am I to disagree? You probably will, if that's the attitude you have.
If you believe that,
if you believe that, you're telling the universe, listen, I am going to, so agree with me, So I think this attitude of willfulness, I want what I want. I want to ask Steven if he's been through anything where he really needed to exercise his want on something in faith. And I'll just share a tidbit. A few months ago, I broke my foot, and I broke my foot in a very, very bad way that the doctor was just like, oh, yeah, when they make that face, he's like, oh, and then maybe a week later, I was online with the cast and the whole thing, and I was shopping for high heels because the store that I liked had a lot of sales. So I was buying high heels, and one of my friends said,
with a cast.
You have a cast on your foot. You have no idea that the doctor's saying you're going to need surgery on your foot. You're online shopping for shoes, for high heels. And I said, men of little faith, you know. So and I said, why are you telling me that I can't buy high heels if I have a cast on my foot? I'm going to heal. It's going to, if it needs surgery, if it whatever, but I'm going to wear high heels still. And hopefully today for New Year's Eve, after I take these, you know, and I want to wear my high heels. That's what I mean by, and you know what? If I didn't, it's okay as well, because thy will be done. All I have the power to do is to believe in myself. And guess what, guys? Do I have high heels today? You bet. $7. That's what I spent on my high heels. $7. And I'm the happiest gal around, because you know what? It wasn't because of the high heels. It's because I was blessed to have had the knowledge of the physical therapy that I had to do, to have the ability to do for whatever merit I had, and to be persistent, to have the want and the right attitude. And I failed many others. I'm just giving you the good one. You know, of course, I'm not going to share all the ones that I failed, but I wanted to share one that you have to exercise this. Believe in yourself. And it works. I can't emphasize it enough. With you, same thing, Stevan?
You don't buy high heels from me, but
Not by high.
no. Yes, we do have many examples, you know, like we try, we do have the best intention. You know, we always want a better thing for. I have two girls. For them, you know, everything you do for them, you want this, but uh, thinking about an example here, I can say we always try do our best, but unfortunately, sometimes it didn't work. Sometimes, and I have a person came to me. We did everything I could in terms of the fraternal assistance, talking to them. I was hoping to to not to fix that's the problem. I was hoping to fix, but the person didn't want to be fixed,
Ah,
you know. And I, of course, at the end I get frustrated because I did everything I could. Oh no, I did this, I did that. And at the end, look at her. My wife just look at me and say, did you put expectations? I said, of course I did. You started wrongly. And these remind me, I likewise, Deborah. I love Paul. And the moment when Paul start, not Paul, so fall off the horse, and he saw Jesus. He said, "What you want me to do?" He didn't say, "Oh, forgive me because I stoned Stephen." Now, no, he said, "What you want from me?" So it means, okay, from now on, what do you want from me? And this is what you need to do. This is where your hope. From now on, what do you want from me? I know I have done a lot of bad things and good things. Forget them. But now, what do you want from me? And from that moment, Paul born with a lot of troubles, with a lot of problems. He went to the desert. He spent 3 years in the desert, sewing the carpets. But why? He had a goal. I want to change. Do you want to change? Or at the moment when you see Jesus, you say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I did this. I did that. I know." Wait. What do you want for yourself? What do you hope for yourself? I'm not talking about here in a selfish way. With Debora said, start with small goals, achievable goals, but don't forget to recompensate yourself. Don't forget to say, okay, if I could do this, I will take Debora to a dinner today. And you go and take her to dinner. Oh, now next challenge. I will make that point. If I make this, I will go to Jersey. And I go to visit Debora in Jersey. So don't forget to recompensate yourself on when you achieve your small conquers, because a big conquer is made of a lot of small conquers. And this is what you need to hope for. Every day, when you wake up, hope for a better day. If you didn't have a better day, think why. What you could do differently. And next day, do it again in the best way. So that's the hope we want to give to you in this 1st of January. I hope for a better day, but this new year starts every single day for you. Every single day you have a new achievement, new goals, new celebrations, new parties, new everything. If you want to cry, let's cry together. If you want to have a fun, let's have a fun together. Because we will only grow as a humanity when we learn that we need to respect each one's boundaries and we need to live in society. It means my boundary finish when you start your boundaries. And mutually, we work together. That's my wish for you in this new year. Every day, make it a new year for you, a new day, celebration. So, I think it's. What do you think of that?
I think so. I think we can end up on this happy tone. And I like that he really brought up this, everybody should be feeling exciting. Everybody should be feeling exciting to be alive. It's a long line to be here. And be excited about your life. I know a lot of times it could be hurtful to hear certain things that you probably have heard, maybe as a child. Sometimes we can be put down. Sometimes we may not be forgiven. Sometimes we may not forgive ourselves. Sometimes we may get to a very bleak or a very dark spot where we think that there's no hope. But I want to end this in an exciting news. There is always hope. We started this by saying, does hope die at some point? Is it the last one to die? Hope doesn't die. Hope is always a beginning. Hope is always alive. Hope is the pathway to faith. And we're all going to be faithful at some point, without doubts, no questions, not wondering, certainty, knowing that God is our creator. He doesn't create anybody to fail. So we're not failing. Whenever you think that you might be failing, you're not. You're learning. You only fail if you exercise selfishness, or if you don't want to be humble to learn with your mistakes. Be excited about your life. Be excited about 2022. It doesn't matter. We don't know what's to come, but we know God will be with us. And if he's with us, who is against us? And I prefer to know that God is a God of love and fairness and abundance. That's the God that I try to follow. Very faintly, I follow him and his son Jesus. But I try to follow. And if we all just make this commitment now to say 2021 will be a great year, but it doesn't matter if it's the 1st of January, 3rd of July, 15th of August, every day is a new beginning. We don't need selfishness. We need fraternity. We don't need religion. We need spirituality. We don't need competitiveness. We need cooperation. And if we do that, there's a lot of hope. And you know what? The world would be surprised with its inhabitants. So that's my final message for sure. Exercise it. Take yourself to the movies. Take yourself to places. Don't wait for others to take you. Take yourself. You're worth it. You're much more worth than you think you are. And I'm sure that you have conquered a lot of pain in your life at some point. And you know what? You're here. You've conquered it. And there's going to be some obstacles, and that's okay, because you're going to learn with them. So Happy New Year from me. Happy New Year from Stevan, from all of us from Kardec Radio. We wish you an amazing 2022. One that you will invite Jesus to be present in your days, every day. Try to make an effort to learn more about Kardec, because it can teach
There's a
you.
lot. Keep you watching the shows we have here in Kardec Radio. Always, I'm pretty sure always there is one special, and you say, that person touched me. You know? Yes. Keep watching. Everyone, there is amazing people here ready to give their time to you.
And I want to thank especially Vanessa Anceloni to be giving this beautiful moment to us, to be given to you, to have Kardec Radio up and about and all the time. And personally, I want to thank you, Stevan, and thank you for entering my life as well. Thank you.
And thank you, Debora. Thank you very much. From Kardec Radio family to your family. A happy new year. A wonderful year. Greetings from Ireland.
Greetings from the U.S.
See you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.